Hello and good morning from Vilnius, Lithuania airport. Today we're leaving this country. We've had a really nice time, really good overnight, but the adventure must continue. And today we are now going to fly again on a new airline, and at the moment a new aircraft to a new destination. So I bought this ticket yesterday, and it's a transfer through one country into another like yesterday. So this morning we are flying with LOT Polish Airlines to Warsaw, and then we will be connecting on to another country after that. So let's go get checked in and see where this takes us. So, welcome to Poland and Warsaw International Airport. It is quite a small but busy airport, and I think it's the start of the summer holidays here in Poland, as there's a lot of flights heading to the popular tourist destinations such as Spain and Turkey. However, we are booked on our connecting flight from here with LOT Polish Airlines down to Sofia, Bulgaria. This time it's an E195, which I have been on but I've not been to Bulgaria, so the rules still apply and we can take the flight. And I should be going to the gate in a couple of minutes and then down to Sofia, where I'm looking now of what other options I've got, and I'm hoping I can squeeze one more flight in today to get me somewhere pretty cool to get me to Malta ready for tomorrow. So let's go to the gate. Managed to get myself a little pod. I've been sitting in some hard chairs for a couple of hours now. Boarding's in 20 minutes or so, so shouldn't be too bad. A couple of hours run down to Sofia, Bulgaria. I've taken a risk and I booked another flight from Sofia to another destination. Now I'll explain a bit more when we arrive in Sofia. I should have a 3-hour connection, so plenty of time to get my bag and check it back in again. So hopefully it all works out, and I'll tell you where we're going after that when we land in Sofia, Bulgaria. So we've made it to Sofia, Bulgaria, another nice flight with LOT, Polish Airlines. No complaints really there. As I said before, I have booked now my next flight. So I need to now go from Terminal 2 to Terminal 1, and I have to use my Get Out of Free Jail card because I needed to get to my next destination, as I think I've found a pretty cool way of entering Malta tomorrow. So let's get over to Terminal 1 and I'll tell you more then. So the last flight of today, we are going to Larnaca in Cyprus. This is my get out of free jail card because we are flying with Wizz Air on board an Airbus A321neo, and I've been to Cyprus before, so this is my get out of free jail card, and this is going to be a good positioning flight for tomorrow. I've booked my flight from Larnaca to Malta, and I think it's a really good way of getting to the final destination. So let's jump on board this flight now. I have been trying to avoid flying on the Wizz Airs, Ryanairs, EasyJets, because they're all aircraft I've flown on before and airlines I've flown on before, so that would have only really left the destination to go to. So yeah, I thought I'd try and hold off and book with national airlines or other airlines where possible, which I have managed to do apart from this flight, but never mind, the card has been used. It won't need to be used again anymore because tomorrow we'll make it to Malta. So let's jump on board. Well, good morning from Larnaca, Cyprus. A glorious morning it is here on Thursday the 17th of July. Yesterday's flight from Bulgaria to Larnaca with Wizz Air was fine. Wizz Air, no frills, nothing but a seat and a safety belt. However, we got there on time with no dramas, so happy days. I'm just going to take a wander along the beach. My taxi's picking me up at 10 o'clock, ready for the next part of the journey. And here we have the Mediterranean Sea. It's funny to think really that on Monday I was up in Finland on the Baltic Sea, the Gulf of Finland, and 4 days later I've arrived down in Larnaca, Cyprus, and I'm on the Mediterranean Sea. Now this morning it's about 30 degrees already at 8:45 in the morning. A lot of locals and holidaymakers are already down on the beach, got their sun loungers out, ready for a nice day of sunbathing. However, that's not really my thing, and I have booked myself on something quite special to get me to Malta this morning. So let's get back to the airport and find out how I'm going to arrive in Malta doing one of these trips. And I've set myself a goal of, well, I've got to be in Malta by Thursday, and my flight with BA is at 9:15 in the evening. I've got to make it, otherwise I'm going to have to pay more money for another flight to get me home. Now, there was a flight with Ryanair from Malta to Norwich. However, my car is at Heathrow, so that was never going to be an option. So, yesterday I was contemplating different ways to get to Malta, and again, I didn't really want to fly Ryanair and EasyJet or Wizz Air. And then I remembered something. There's one airline that operates a Fifth Freedom route. So I thought, yes, a Fifth Freedom route, that would be pretty cool. And this airline is one of the best airlines in the world. Now it's only an economy ticket, because it still cost me £215 plus my check-in bag. But I think this will be a pretty good trip and a nice way to round off my 4 days of flying to get me to Malta, and it gives me plenty of time for my BA flight this evening. And for those that don't know, a Fifth Freedom route is where an airline operates between two airports which aren't their home base, and majority of the time it's because it's not operationally viable or cost effective commercially to run two separate aircraft to those locations, because the traffic and footfall is just not there. So they hop between two airports, and this is what I'm going to do today, although it's a big hop, a 2 hour 15-minute journey between Larnaca, Cyprus and Malta. So here are some clues of the airline we're about to fly on. They're one of the best airlines in the world. They're from the Middle East, and they only operate at the moment 3 types of aircraft: the Boeing 777-300ER, the Airbus A350-900 and the Airbus A380. You've guessed it, we are flying with Emirates. Now Emirates operates this route once daily from Dubai to Larnaca, and then the Fifth Freedom route part from Larnaca to Malta, Malta back to Larnaca, and then back onto Dubai. Now we've booked a ticket which cost me £215, which I didn't think was too bad of a value for an Emirates flight. It is in economy, and I have managed to get a window seat right at the back of the plane, 48k. So I'm really excited for this trip. Everyone thinks of Emirates and their game changer first class seat and their award-winning business class product and that bar that's on the A380. Now don't get me wrong, I'd love to fly on the game changer first class suite, and we will do, and I'm hoping to do it for my 40th birthday. However, I didn't think it was good value for money, £1,000 to travel in business class for 2.5 hours. I don't think I would have got the full experience that I'd want to get out of it, and certainly not for that money. But people say that Emirates are one of the best for their economy service, and that's what we will try out. Let's get back to the hotel, and the taxi's picking me up at 10 so we can get to the airport. I just need to work out how to get back to my hotel room because I'm now a little bit lost. check-in, passport control and security took about 20 minutes at Larnaca Airport, which isn't too bad. There's quite a lot of flights going out over the lunchtime period. The Emirates flight is about 25 minutes away, so I'm going to go grab a drink and try and film it as it lands. And there she is, the Boeing 777-300ER aircraft that's going to take us to Malta. She's arrived on time. I'll just offload the passengers that want to get off here in Larnaca, and then we should be boarding in the next 20 minutes to half an hour, so really excited for this one. So after a quick Google, I've just found out that this is the only route that Emirates fly into Europe on a Fifth Freedom route. Everything else will stop over in Europe or other destinations and then go on, but this is the only one that flies in between two European countries. Welcome to Malta and Valletta and here at the Triton Fountain. That was a really good flight with Emirates. I thought for 2.5 hours for £215 was really good value for money. The crew was super friendly and I had that really nice chicken pasta meal and the flight flew by. I watched one movie. No complaints really, so I really look forward to taking another flight with Emirates and hopefully next time go on a longer flight in business class or first class. So really good. Now for my flight back home is with BA. Now it is a business class ticket with Sutton seat 1A. It's currently delayed, so I've got about 4 hours here in town before we need to head back to the airport. So let's go explore a little bit and the sights and smells and sounds of Malta. We went from London Heathrow up to Helsinki, Finland with Finnair as our positioning move, and then we took our first flight again with Finnair on Embraer over to Stockholm, Sweden. I was a bit gutted that I didn't have a lot longer in Stockholm than I could have done, but these things happen. Then the following day we moved on with Air Baltic via Riga, Latvia to Vilnius, Lithuania, and I really enjoyed Lithuania. That was a really nice country, had a really nice overnight there. 2 really good flights with Air Baltic, and remember that Starlink Wi-Fi was pretty awesome. Then the following day was LOT, Polish Airlines, 2 Embraers, one 175 and one 195. I really liked LOT. They offered a really nice service for an economy ticket. And, 2 really good flights. Warsaw Airport is very small and very busy. However, I'm going to go back to Poland and I'd like to have an explore around the country. And then today there was a really good trip on Emirates for the first time on their Boeing 777-300 aircraft. That was a really good 2-hour, 20-minute flight with Emirates. I definitely want to fly them again. And we made it to Malta. 2 o'clock Malta time and ready to go back to the United Kingdom now. The flight's at 9:15, although it is delayed at the moment, so let's go get some food and head back to the airport. So what did all these flights cost me? So Finnair was £67 and 12,000 Aviation points for that business class ticket. Then the second Finnair flight was £100 to get me to Stockholm. Probably the most expensive flight per mile. I'll have to work it out. However, sort of one of the only options I sort of could have done really. The Air Baltic 2 flights were £111, which I thought was really good value for money, especially with that Starlink, and I'll keep going on that. And remember that includes my checked-in bag, and I managed to get a window seat on all the flights as well. LOT Polish Airlines was £145 for those 2 flights, again with a checked-in bag and window seats as well. The Wizz Air flight was £67 with a allocated seat and one checked-in bag. And as I said, Emirates was £215, and I managed to get a window seat and a checked-in bag. And lastly, this flight to get me back home to London Gatwick with British Airways was £37 in business class with 12,000 Avios points redemption, which I thought was really good value for a 3-hour flight. So after a quick wander around Malta and a pint of beer, it's time for me to head back to the airport as I'm flying back home to London Gatwick tonight with British Airways. I would certainly recommend flying on Emirates, even if it's in economy for a couple of hour flight. It's definitely 100% recommended. The crew were really friendly, the food was really tasty, the extra details like that Polaroid photo was really, really nice. And I reckon that on a 10, 11 hour flight, even in economy, they would look after you really, really well. And as I said, I'd love to try their business class product and their first class product, but that will wait for another video. So all it leaves me to say is thank you ever so much for watching and supporting the channel, and I'll see you on the next adventure.